That's all we want to do. We don't want the truth. We just want somebody to agree with what we say. Don't work like that. I'm giving y'all the truth here. I know y'all can see it. If you honest, you can see this. Amos 8, verse 1. Go ahead and read.
Thus hath the Lord God showed unto me, and behold, a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then said the Lord unto me, the end is come upon my people of Israel.
Hold up. The end is come upon my people who?
Israel.
So who's he talking to?
Israel.
Ancient Israel. Real simple. But can you believe? And the church that we came from, they use this to try to refer to the crucifixion of the Messiah. I'm going to show you what verse they use for that. This ain't got nothing to do with the Messiah's crucifixion. He said the end is come upon my people Israel. The end. Right? The end of what? Their world as they know it. We don't understand it. When the book talks about the end of the world, sometimes it means the end of a specific time period and age. And sometimes it means the end of a world as you know it. America is our world, people. If America is destroyed right now, that's the end of the world as we know it. Not the whole world, but the world we know. So he said the end has come upon my people Israel. Keep reading.
I will not again pass by them anymore. And the songs of the temple shall be howlings in that day.
Now we already know whichever Israel he's talking about. It was the temple during the time this happened. So what Israel was that? Ancient Israel. What temple is he talking about? Solomon's temple. Go ahead and read.
Saith the Lord God, there shall be many dead bodies in every place. They shall carry them forth with silence.
Yes, they were killing Israel as they put them into captivity. Right? But now, skip down to verse 9, and let's see what God going to do to his ancient people Israel when this happens. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord.
It shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord. Go ahead and read.
That I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day.
Now, the elder at the church me and Brother David came from, he tried to say they were referring to when Jesus was on the cross. When the sun went down, he said that it was darkened over the land from the 6th hour to the 9th hour, or from 12 noon to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This ain't talking about that. This is talking about dark times coming upon his people Israel. We just seen who he was talking about. He said the end is coming upon my people Israel. He's punishing them. Now he's describing apocalyptic language. What have we been reading so far? Every time God talks about punishing a nation with another nation, doesn't he always talk about blackening out the heavens or darkening the celestial bodies? He always talks about that. This is what you're reading about here too, people. Read it over again, big baby. Go ahead, verse 9.
And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord God, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon.
I will cause the sun to go down at noon. Go ahead.
And I will darken the earth in the clear day. And I will turn your feast into mourning.
What feast in the morning? The feast of Israel. The feast they had been keeping. The songs of the temple. They had songs playing at the temple constantly. Because, you had Levites who were musicians. They constantly played music. We can study that in the Melodies from Heaven class. Go ahead and read.
And all your songs into lamentation. And I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins.
I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins. In other words, they're going to be lamenting. They're going to be mourning. That's what you do back in the day. You would put on sackcloth. That represents mourning or lamenting. Go ahead and read.
And baldness upon every head. And I will make it as the morning of an only son, and the end thereof as a bitter day.
When he does what? To who? Ancient Israel. You can read this whole chapter on your own time, and you'll see that's who he's talking about. But he said, when I do this to you, Israel, I'm going to make the sun go down at noon in the clear of the day. That did not literally happen when Israel went into captivity. This is talking about the same event with the Assyrians. It's talking about the same event. But it was described another way in the book of Isaiah. He said, I'm going to take all the light from the heavens. This is talking about the same thing, people. It's apocalyptic language. Whenever the Bible talks about the elements getting dark, it means God bringing trouble or judgment on a nation at the hands of a more powerful nation. That's what it always means. We haven't read one time where it means anything other than that. Have we? Not one time. So wouldn't that mean that when we get to the New Testament, same thing. Mm-hmm. Right? Same thing. But let's keep moving. Go ahead and read that last verse, 11.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, and I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of the hearing of the word of the Lord.
But the hearing of the words of the Lord. You can read in other prophecies that he said he's going to cut off the visions of the prophets and of the priests. That would have mean we say a famine of the hearing of the word of God. That's what happened when they went into captivity. People, meaning you have to be a little versed in other parts of the Bible to get this too. But your pastor and your elder, they ain't going to show you this stuff. They're going to make you think it's all future. None of this stuff, all this stuff we read is fulfilled. And we showing you when they talk about the sun and the moon and stars getting dark, just apocalyptic language, meaning judgment coming upon one nation at the hands of another. So when we get to the end, where God himself is doing the judgment, that means he got to be judging all nations. Right? But let's keep it moving. Let's go to Zephaniah. A little small book. It's after Habakkuk, but before Haggai. Or Haggai. Zephaniah. I know we don't go here often. Most people don't. But same language. Zephaniah chapter 1. And yes, I've seen elders at the church I came from and black Hebrews use this chapter here to try to tell us about the end of the world, the end time prophecy. They don't understand. And what's so funny is, in every place we went, I've shown you who we was talking to, haven't I? You don't even got to try to get it. Ain't no debate. He's talking to ancient Israel. We know ancient Israel went into captivity. We even read that it said when he does it. We even got the pinpointed time. It said when he does it, that's when the light was going to go out. He even said when he did it. So ain't no way to mess this up. You just don't want the truth if you can't see this. You don't want it. Zephaniah 1 and verse 1. I tell people all the time, the truth ain't for everybody. If the truth was for everybody, I would be out of a job. I would not be having to do this. Zephaniah 1 and 1. Go ahead and read.
The word of the Lord, which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cushi, Cushai, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah.
This prophecy came during the days of Josiah, the king of Judah. You know, the king of the 9 tribes with a few people from the other 12. The king of the 3 tribes with a few people from the other 9. Remember, Judah had Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, while Israel had the other 9. You know, they had like Zebulun and Issachar and Naphtali and Dan and all them. And a few of those people from the other 9 tribes were still living with the main 3 tribes, you know, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So what you're reading about right here is the king of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And they just called that the kingdom of Judah because Judah was the most prominent tribe. Right? So this is something that took place during the time of the king of Judah. Right? Go ahead and read.
I will utterly consume all things from off the land, saith the Lord.
Now let me ask y'all a question. When you read this, if you just read this by itself, it does sound apocalyptic, don't it? But we already know who he's talking about. Because we got the time period, right? We know that Israel was being wicked at that time, right? So why would God just jump all the way to the future and disregard what was going on right then and there? But we're going to prove that. Can you read it?
I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven.
The fowls of who?
The heaven.
The heaven. Notice that the fowls of heaven. What does the word heaven refer to? The sky. The fowls of heaven, fowls of the sky. In other words, whatever you see when you look up. Go ahead and read.
And the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord.
Now let's see who God is going to do this to. Who is he talking to? Let's keep it in context. Clear, concise context. Read.
I will also stretch out my hand upon Judah.
Hold on. Upon who?
Judah.
Upon who?
Judah.
So who are we talking about?
Judah.
So we're talking about some thousands of years ago, right? Something that already don't happen, right?
Right.
Go ahead and read.
And upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
That's who Judah, that's what they inhabited, Jerusalem. Remember, their capital city was Jerusalem, while the kingdom of Israel capital city was Samaria. Go ahead and read.
And I will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place, in the name of the Cherubims with the priests.
So Baal, the false god, that's what they worshiped back then. Nobody who calls themselves Israel today openly worships Baal. They might be doing it and don't know it, or they're doing it secretly and not telling anybody, but nobody openly worships Baal. So you know this talking about ancient Israel. Go ahead.
And them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord, and that swear by Malcham.
So he said they worship the host of heaven, they worship the stars. We dealt with that in the horoscope class. Go ahead and read.
And them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, nor inquired for him.
So we've read enough of this to know that he's talking about ancient Judah. We know that, right? He's talking about punishing them, cutting them off of the land, right? See what God said he's going to do when he do this. Skip down to verse 12 and read.
And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles.
I will search Jerusalem with candles, because that's where Judah was living, right? Go ahead.
And punish the men that are settled on their leaves, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil.
So we see he's talking about punishing Judah. We got that. Ancient Judah. Everybody can see that. Not hard to catch. It's right there clear. Go ahead and read.
Therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof.
You know this is talking about ancient Israel, because this happening. This is a prophet that was given in Deuteronomy 28. Right? Now watch, he's talking about punishing ancient Israel, and watch the next thing comes out his mouth. When I say ancient Israel, I mean Judah, because even though they were called the kingdom of Judah, they were still Israelites. But go ahead and read.
The great day of the Lord is near.
Hold up, the great day of the Lord is near. What we've been talking about up to this point, God punishing who, baby?
Punishing Israel.
Israel or Judah.
Or Judah.
Right? That's what we've been talking about up the hill, right? So now read verse 14 again. Go ahead.
The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and haste is great. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry their bitterly. That day is a day of wrath. A day of trouble.
A day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. A day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress for who?
For Israel.
For Israel, ancient Judah. That's what we've been reading about him punishing this whole time. So why would we be reading about that and then jump all the way to everybody on the planet with no type of warning whatsoever? He's talking about punishing them. And I've seen, y'all know I'm not lying, y'all don't think it too, I've seen black people who go here and try to make this talk about something's going to happen in our future. This ain't got nothing to do with us at all. Keep reading. You don't see it. Go ahead.
A day of wasteness and desolation. A day of darkness and gloominess.
A day of what? Darkness and gloominess. Every time they talk about God using one nation to punish another, it always talk about the elements being dark or it being a dark day. Right? Go ahead and read.
A day of clouds and thick darkness. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities.
Hold on, against the fenced cities and what else?
And against the high towers.
Did we not read in Isaiah chapter 5 when we was talking about his vineyard? And he said, what did he do to his vineyard? He said he had fenced cities around it and he had towers in it. Remember he said that? So we know this talking about ancient Israel. But it just said the day of the Lord and the wrath gonna come upon them. But you've been taught your whole life that the day of the Lord is one event that's only going to happen in the end. That's what you've been taught. Right? But keep reading though. Read 16 again.
And the day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dawn.
Whose blood? It's going to be spilled. Ancient Israel, Judah. Because when you read this, and you read verse 4, it tells you, I will stretch out my hand upon Judah. He's telling you who he's talking to. So if he's already telling you who he's talking to, somebody tell me how these black Hebrews and these Christians are going here and making this refer to us. Or something's going to happen in our time, or shortly after our time. How are they doing this? They're not reading. And if they are reading and still telling you that, they're lying. They do not understand the apocalyptic language of the Bible. They are misinterpreting it. And when they teach to you and you teach to other people, you are misinterpreting it too. That's what's going on. And when you read this stuff in context, just simply read it from verse 1. It's clear to see who he's talking to. That's all we're doing. Read it from verse 1. The only way you can try to put this in the future is if you want it to be in the future. That's the only way. Anybody can see this talking about ancient Israel. And every time you talk about punishing them by the hand of a nation stronger than them, it always talk about the elements getting dark. He said the same thing to Pharaoh when he sent Babylon among him. I'm going to put out the sun. I'm going to cover the sun with a cloud. The moon not going to shine and the stars ain't going to shine. Right? Let's keep it moving. Let's go to Isaiah again. We've been starting dealing with the main ones now. But the point been proven already, ain't it? Point been proven. These are the main ones they mess up. These are the ones you're going to hear when you ask anybody about end-time prophecy. Go to the church me and Brother David came from. Go to any of the major black Hebrew congregations and they'll tell you all this stuff that we about to read right now that's talking about end-time prophecy. They'll tell you that. But they don't understand apocalyptic language. And it's real easy to understand, ain't it? It ain't hard. It's not like y'all scratching y'all head sitting in front of y'all computer. What is he talking about? It's not hard. I know it's not hard. Y'all understand. It's clear. We still use the terminology today. Man, it's going to be a dark day when that happens. We still use that terminology today. When we talk about bad times. You follow what I'm saying? So it's not really that hard to pick up on. Problem is, people been ripping stuff out of context and telling you it's talking about the future. When it's not. We're going to get to the future. Don't worry about that. But I'm trying to help y'all understand this stuff. So when we get to it in the New Testament, y'all going to say, oh, that's what he meant. Isaiah 13:1. Go ahead and read.
The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see.
So it said the burden of Babylon, which means the trouble of Babylon, or the distress of Babylon. So who are we talking about? Babylon. Now you got some black Hebrews that jump up and say, well, are we talking about ancient Babylon or future spiritual Babylon? So they'll try to do that. Because some of them don't caught on to the fact that, it do say Babylon, so we got to make it a spiritual Babylon to get away from it. No, this is talking about ancient Babylon. You're going to see by the context of it. We dealt with this in the Matthew 24 class, but I'm giving y'all a more extensive version of just the apocalyptic language, right? 13:2. Go ahead.
Lift you up a banner upon high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. Now
we're talking about the burden of Babylon, right? So if this is talking about ancient Babylon, and it is, that means that these people that God is mustering for to battle has to be a nation that God is going to use to punish Babylon, right? Because you got the black Hebrews talking about America. This ain't talking about no America. It's about ancient Babylon. We're going to prove it. Because it's talking about America. So it's talking about a nation that God going to use to punish America. No, it's not. Keep it in context, people. It's going to tell you. Keep reading.
They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land.
See, he called these people the weapons of his indignation. In other words, the instrument that God's going to use to punish Babylon. Right? But he said destroy the whole land. What land are we talking about? Babylon. But like the black Hebrews do, and y'all know, y'all go on YouTube right now, they take you here. Just type in on YouTube, America going to be destroyed, and every black Hebrew that pop up on your computer screen is going to take you to Isaiah 13. Guaranteed. But it ain't talking about no spiritual Babylon in the future here. It's talking about ancient Babylon, and we're going to prove it to you. Go ahead and read. And the church we came from, it's talking about Russia. How do you even get Russia out of this? I don't know. But go ahead and read.
All ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand.
It called it the day of the Lord again. But it's talking about something that's going to come upon Babylon. How can the destruction that came upon Israel and upon Judah be called the day of the Lord, and the destruction that comes upon Babylon be called the day of the Lord, if it's only one day of the Lord? How can it be? Because it's not just one day of the Lord. The day of the Lord is any day God chooses one nation to punish another. That's all it is. Go ahead and read.
It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh.
You say it again, the day of the Lord cometh, right? And see, if you don't got any understanding, this does seem global. It does seem universal. But we just read in verse 1, the burden of Babylon. That's what we reading about. Go ahead and read.
Cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate.
To lay the land desolate. What land are we reading about? Babylon. But is it ancient? Or is it a spiritual Babylon? It's ancient, but we're going to prove to you that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And he shall destroy the sinners thereof utterly. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light.
Now notice what God is saying he going to do when he destroys Babylon. If this is ancient Babylon, and it is, we're going to prove it, then that would mean that he made the elements get dark again. When he had Babylon destroyed. Go ahead and read.
The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
Where have you read this before? Didn't we read that in Ezekiel 32? Didn't we read something similar like that in Isaiah 5? Didn't we read something like that in Amos? In Zephaniah? That's all we keep reading, don't we? But people think this is literal. It ain't literal. It just means evil times or troublous time is coming on the nation that God is using another nation to punish. That's all that means. Now read verse 11. This is what really destroyed people. Really just throw them out. Go ahead.
And I will punish the world for their evil.
Did you see what he just did? Big Baby just did by mistake. We have become so programmed in reading stuff that he accidentally put holes in front of the word world. It even called him. And he know they ain't referring to that. You see what I'm saying? Now read it again. Go ahead.
By nature.
Yeah, just by nature, see? Go ahead.
And I will punish the world for their evil.
I will punish the world for their evil. He said the world. Talk the whole world, people. No, it's not. Go ahead and read. I'm proving to you.
And the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease. And I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Okay,
we're going to stop right here for a second. Because I want to go to the strong corner. We're going to look at the word translated world in this text. And this is 8398 in the Hebrew section. It said the world, didn't it? 8398. But get to understanding, people. I'm going to prove y'all this about ancient Babylon. 8398. It's not hard to understand. People mess it up. 8398. And the word is Tabel. From 2986. And it means the earth as moist and therefore inhabited. By extension, the globe. That's the whole world. By implication, it's inhabited. Specifically, a partic land, meaning a certain location on the earth. Right? And look what it says. Look what it gives you as an example. As Babylonia. It even gave Babylon as an example. So when he said, I'm going to punish the world for their evil, and we was talking about Babylon, he just said, I'm going to punish the land for its evil, the land of Babylon people. He wasn't talking about the whole world right here. He got some people say, it's about the Babylonian system of the whole world. I seen people try to flip it like that. No. It's talking about ancient Babylon. Let me prove that to you. Go on back. Isaiah 13. Pick it back up at 15. Go ahead and read.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
He said everyone that is found in this land, ancient Babylon, shall be thrust through. They're going to be stabbed. They're going to be killed. That's what they're saying, right? By who? By this nation that God is bringing against Babylon. We're going to see who we're going to bring against them. And then you're going to know which Babylon is talking about. A future one or an ancient one. Go ahead and read.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
Their children shall be dashed to pieces. I have seen black Hebrews stand on the corner on YouTube and read this to white folks and say, we're going to cut your babies up. You fool. You idiotic fool. This ain't even talking about you. This ain't even talking about something Israel gonna do. But they take people here and say, see that? They're ignorant. They're stupid. But keep reading. Go ahead.
Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives racked.
They talk about raping people too. We gonna rape y'all. The black Hebrews say that. This ain't even talking about something Israel gonna do. This ain't talking about something Israel gonna do. This ain't even talking about something Israel gonna do. This is about something that the nation that God bringing against Babylon gonna do to Babylon. We talking about ancient Babylon. Go ahead and read the next verse. It's gonna prove it. Go ahead.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
Hold up. I'm gonna stir up the who against them?
The Medes.
In ancient history, was not the Babylonians defeated by the Medes? Yes. So which Babylon are we talking about here? Ancient Babylon. So I'm going to stir up the Medes against them. Or the Medo-Persian Empire. Y'all know Darius and Cyrus. That's what we talking about, these people here. They are the ones who took out Babylon, ancient Babylon. And then they themselves were taken out by the Greeks. And the Greeks were taken out by the Romans. So I'm going to stir up the Medes against them. So when you read all of this and this, you know this talking about ancient Babylon. Because ancient Babylon was destroyed by the Medes, right? But it's only one problem though, big baby. He said when this happens to Babylon, he's going to make the sun and the moon and the stars stop shining. So did the sun and the moon and the stars stop shining when ancient Babylon was destroyed by the Medes? No, it didn't. It would have been recorded. So let me get this straight. If this is literal, this would mean that Nebuchadnezzar, when he destroyed Judah, the sun and the moon and the stars went out. Because we read it was going to happen when he did that, right? Then, when he destroyed, then he came back on. It had to come back on. Right. Then when he destroyed Pharaoh Hophra, who was the successor of Pharaoh Necho, it went out again. Then it came back on. Then when he got taken out, it went out again and came back on. Come on, people. Y'all know good and well that did not happen. This is apocalyptic language that just simply means when God uses one nation to punish another, it's going to be a bad time. That's all it means. And he sent the Medes on ancient Babylon. It just I'm going to stir up the Medes against them. It's telling you who he used. You can't read nowhere in this Bible where God's going to use the Medes to punish any future Babylon. You can't read that nowhere in this Bible. But you can read in history and in the Bible where the Medes destroyed Babylon. That's history. This document is. You go on the internet, look at that. Go ahead and read.
For gold they shall not delight in it.
So don't worry, you ain't going to be able to buy yourself out of this Babylon. Go ahead.
Their bowls also shall dash the young men to pieces.
Their bowls, whose bowls? The bowls of the Medes is going to dash the young men of Babylon to pieces. Go ahead and read.
And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb.
And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Go ahead.
That I shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms.
And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. Go ahead.
The beauty of the Chaldees.
The beauty of the Chaldees. The Chaldeans. He's talking about Babylon. This ain't talking about no spiritual Babylon. Why would you call spiritual Babylon the beauty of the Chaldees? Right. It's ancient Babylon. Go ahead and read.
Excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
He said ancient Babylon was going to be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And God did overthrow ancient Babylon at the hands, the weapons of his indignation, the Medes. But it said that when God did this, he was going to do what? The stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be dark in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Every time God talks about using one nation upon another, he always uses that language, don't he? Every time. It's not literal, people. It's not literal. It's symbolic. It's apocalyptic language. And they don't understand. Let's move on. We're going to keep it moving. Still in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 34. Let's read about the judgment of Edom. That's another nation name. Isaiah 34. This is how these black Hebrews try to use this. See, God gonna get the Edom when he come back. Edom is not a nation anymore, people. Edom lost their status as a nation long ago. Ain't no nation of Edom right now. Undercover or open. There is no nation of Edom. It does not exist. Because God said he was going to take them out. Isaiah 34:1. Go ahead and read.
Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it.
Now this is talking about the judgment of the nations. So when people read this got to be talking about future time. People, we just read how God judged Babylon, what he said he was going to do to Babylon. We read what he was going to do to Pharaoh, right? If you keep reading, you can read what he said he's going to do to the Medes and what he's going to do to the Romans. So he was talking about all the nations back then. Just because God is addressing all the nations, why you got to throw it in the future? God ain't never addressed all the nations in the past before? Yes. That's why people get confused. He's about all the nations. This got to be future. Why? Says who? Why does it have to be future? We just seen the judgment on Babylon. We seen the judgment on Pharaoh, right? And now we're going to see the judgment on Edom. That's 3 nations right there. And you can read later about the Medes and the Persians, what he's going to have happen to them. He's talking to the ancient nation people of that time. Keep reading.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
He did do that. He had them going against each other. Go ahead and read.
Their slain also shall be cast off, and their stink shall come up of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
And the mountains shall be melted with their blood. More apocalyptic language. Go ahead and read.
And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved.
There we go again. All the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. Host means multitude. That's the stars of heaven. Go ahead.
And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
He said the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. In other places you read, and we going to read it, where it talk about the heavens shaking. That's what this is referring to, about the heavens shaking. Go ahead.
And all